I don't know. After hearing him calm and talking about the Tether story, it's probable.
Just go down to the county attorney's office. I think you'll find a lot of humans down there.
All right.
No disrespect.
Stop driving.
I'm flirting with the judge in front of my dad.
What's going on? How's everyone doing? Got a special guest tonight. Our very own Deborah Baker. Deborah. I always forget how to do this. There we go. Gotta unmute.
Wait, okay, I have to make sure we don't have like double sound from me. I have the YouTube on somewhere, but I think I'm muted this time.
Well, the video is paused right now, so we're not getting any feedback, so you're good. Deborah.
Okay. Hey, everyone.
First question. Do you want me to call you Debbie, or do you want me to call you Deborah, Deb? What do you prefer?
So most of you guys call me Deborah because that's how my name appears, and that's fine. I noticed your thing is lagged. That's like, okay, it's lagged on the... I don't know which of my cells to look at.
Don't look at YouTube. Don't look at YouTube.
Okay, don't look at YouTube. Okay.
StreamYard is ahead. StreamYard is ahead of YouTube, so we're about 10 seconds ahead of YouTube. So don't look at YouTube.
Okay. All right.
Just watch a little StreamYard stream.
So the question was about Debbie versus Deborah. So most of y'all call me Deborah because that's what my name says, but I actually normally go by Debbie. And then like Paula, I could do Deb. I could do anything.
All right.
I wish we could all see each other, to be honest with you. That would be so cool. But
just jump in a giant Zoom call. Let's just do it.
Yeah. Come on. Like back in the day, like the church Zoom call from COVID.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's just start doing our court watching that way. It'll be a lot more fun.
Hey, Michelle.
Be a lot more than just me talking. Are you over there? I love that you're watching the chat.
I am trying.
You're doing better than I am already. All right. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you being here. I'm glad I got the very most important question out of the way. Debbie B. Next question. Let's talk a little about you for a minute. So you're a lawyer, yes? Supposedly. All right. Well, supposedly, allegedly.
So I don't know where they are anymore.
Allegedly, supposedly, what field do you practice in?
Okay, so I actually don't currently practice. I am a healthcare regulatory lawyer. That's mostly compliance work. So, fraud and abuse, making sure hospitals, healthcare institutions are doing what they're supposed to do. I love regulatory law. I love statutes. And I did regulatory law, and I did other types of regulatory law, like corporate entity work in regulated fields, like whether it's, I had some energy work before, business enterprise. I sort of like transactional work because litigation makes me angry. And you guys have seen me say a lot of times, oh, if I were with that judge, I would be put in contempt. I'd go before a hearing committee, all sorts of things, because I have very little tolerance for judges and their attitudes, and they have plenty of attitude. I'm going to tell you in person. So, but I work with students now. I've been doing that for a long time. I actually really, really love it. So awesome. I help them do what they have to do. If you have a question, just ask me, because I don't know if I was clear.
I'll keep an eye out for questions. I don't have any on that answer, except for I got a comment. If we were in court with our chat, I think all of us would be held in contempt at one point or another. We're all very critical because we can be, right? Nobody sees us. We're just sitting there in the court chat and we're talking. Which actually brings me to my next question. Why I think a lot of judges are shutting down their streams is the chats are getting kind of volatile with a lot of different, for lack of better words, trolls. So how do you feel about Zoom court?
Okay, so that's the big question. I actually think Zoom court
Big
is
question.
extremely problematic. And wait, who bleeped you? Shashina said, it sounds like you're being bleeped.
Me?
I don't know who's being bleeped. That's, I think it's you, Colin. I'm not sure. You have to see what.
No, it could be. My internet connection is terrible, so you probably hear me better than they do because we're on the same. Because you're connected to me right now, and they're hearing the delayed version. So every other word
Okay.
might be, yeah. So you can hear me clearly. They might not be able to. My internet
Shashina,
connection is not good.
It's just that he's cursing at me every other word. So that's
Yeah,
why.
I am. All right, back to Zoom court. Let's hear it.
Okay,
Let's hear it.
back to Zoom court. Okay, so actually I have a huge problem with Zoom court. So yes, courts are open to the public, but you know what you can't do in public court is record anything. So when cases get expunged, right, the records of things are removed. So that even if I went and said, oh my God, you know, Colin had been arrested for some sexual offense. Sorry, I had to use something vile. If for some reason it had been expunged, I can say that, but nobody could confirm or deny it because there would be no record of it, right? I mean, there's technically a record. When you get things expunged, it doesn't completely disappear, but there's no accessible record to the public. But now there was actually a case of a guy who was getting his stuff expunged and people were recording it on YouTube. And he's like, yeah, you know, that way if people look it up, now it's gone off my record. And I'm like, except that it's available on YouTube, right? And that's a huge issue with YouTube. Like, it's not, you're not supposed to, courts are supposed to be public and they're supposed to have public access, but not for perpetuity. The only people who are supposed to bear records in perpetuity is in fact the court and not individuals. And so that's really problematic, actually. That, and I think it desensitizes a lot of court watchers to the real issues of human beings. Like, everybody's making fun of people who are drunk or people who are drug addicts, or people make fun of people for not having money. So you start to see people's privilege, like they don't understand that, yeah, you know what, it might be actually hard to pay for a tether because you don't have $25. So things like that, but
I get it.
Shalom, Captain. But that's my feeling. So now I'm hypocritical because I do it, right? So what am I going to say?
I didn't want to ask you that because I didn't want to put you on the spot.
No.
So
I mean,
are you?
Human beings are not. I'm getting distracted by Mimi's cooking. Mimi keeps cooking every day and then not wanting to share her food with the rest of us. What do I like about court watching? The fact that all of you guys do it. It's nice to make comments with people. For the most part, your chat, Phil's chat. I'm absolutely in love with kitchen court and people in court, right? The groups that you have, the people are pretty cool, right? They're pretty chill, not overly judgmental. And I love that. I like that environment, the camaraderie or whatever. And I love watching court cases. I mean, I have to work with students. If you think that people in the chat are insensitive and don't understand what's happening, law students are also clueless to a large part. So I actually think they should watch more court. And back in the day, there were people who used to take their students more to courts. And it's just become a lot harder to do that nowadays in mass. But it's important for people to be able to see how the justice system works. But the problem with what you guys do, and again, I love it, right? So I'm partaking in it. But the problem is we don't show all the boring, just regular parts of court. We tend to focus on only the ones with misfortune, only the ones that are the funniest. And then it gives people a sense that is the majority of people who go to court, and it's not. Like, everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you went to court pro se. Are you kidding me? Most court transactions are pro se. Like, how many people hire a lawyer to do their traffic case, right? Or their custody case? No, so few. But everyone on all the court watchers are like, how could you go without hiring a lawyer? Yeah. Okay. You want to take a wild guess at how much a lawyer will cost to defend a gun possession charge? Just throw some money out there.
Simple. Do I have any previous? Do I have a history, or is this my
You have
first
no
year?
previous history. It's just your first gun possession charge.
I'm gonna say 3,500.
No, it's like 8,000, and that's pre-trial. Okay, so for all the people who are like, yeah, you should hire a lawyer. I'm like, do you know how much it actually costs to hire a lawyer? You have no idea. So yeah, that's sort of my thing. My thing is, I like it. It's fun, but it gives everybody the sense that they actually know anything about court just because they watched a couple of videos and selected videos, and they don't. Most of what happens behind the scenes. It doesn't happen in the courtroom. So
I understand that. So going back a little bit, I know a case you're talking about where the grandfather was trying to get his record expunged. I actually watched that, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't want my grandkids looking this up." And he had like a drug charge back in like 2001, and the judge, he's like, he expunged it. He took it off his record, which is great, and I was happy for the guy. It was a feel good court clip, but I agree with you. I don't think I shared that clip. I really don't think I shared it, but
I know I don't think it was you. It wasn't you that I saw it on.
But I understand your point, though. That makes a lot of sense. Like we're immortalizing these moments, and I understand that. Like that makes sense. So it's a good point. There was another thing you said that I wanted to comment about. You're reading the chat. What's up?
I'm reading the chat. So I like Lucy's comment about we're all Zoom court honorary attorneys. Absolutely. I mean, look, look, I wasn't a big sports person, but I used to listen to 1010 Wins when I was at home. And you would hear these like, was it 1010 Wins? It could have been other like stations when people used to listen to radio, AM radio, and then they would call in after the sports and completely complain about managers and general managers and like coaches, and everybody knew what to do to make every team perfect. And I'm like,
you sound like you're a Jets fan. Are you a Jets fan?
Okay, I had Jets pajamas, so yes, I'm a Jets fan. I'm also a Mets fan.
Disclosure, everyone, she said she's from New York and she's proud of it. So I had a 50-50 shot at that. I had a 50-50 shot. And the Giants have won a few Super Bowls in the last 20 years. The Jets haven't. So it was a guess, and I was right.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Thanks, Mel. By the way, Melanie is such an awesome contributor because she always remembers to put up your link. She always remembers to tell people like. So thanks, Melanie. And so, yeah.
Thank you, Melanie. Melanie is always here. Melanie's she's probably my number one cheerleader that's here for every video and throws everything up. She does a really good job.
I'm pretty sure I've seen her do a backflip in my head somewhere. And happy birthday to Wendy.
Whose birthday is it?
Wendy. Wait, whose birthday? Is it Wendy's birthday?
Well, happy birthday, Wendy. Happy birthday, Wendy.
Yeah.
Speaking of football,
at
8:20 tonight, very big game. They play against Buffalo.
Okay, wait. It's the Bengals, right?
Yeah, the Bengals. Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Bengals.
What's in front of the word Bengals?
Cincinnati?
No, it's not Cincinnati. Oh, man. Okay. Sorry. I try to do it, but I sort of suck.
I'm Cincinnati, some people say most amazing city ever, but it's generally referred to as Cincinnati.
Yeah. My ex went to the conservatory there, which is amazing, by the way.
It's a great conservatory. They do this 3-week butterfly show every year, and they fly on all these butterflies from all over the world, and it's completely covered to where you have to go through like multiple gates and screens just to go from area to area because it can't cross-contaminate. The conservatory there is gorgeous, and it's super old too. It's over 100 years old. It's amazing.
Okay, I'm not gonna agree with the butterfly thing because I have to admit to everybody I'm afraid of butterflies. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. They're kind of creepy looking when you look up close, but when you're just watching them fly around, they're kind of majestic. but I understand.
The problem is that they don't fly in a predictable flight pattern, and I like to know where you're going so I could avoid you, and they just like go anywhere, and how doesn't really work with me. I've almost gotten killed a few times running into the street away. So Wendy, I'm happy that you love them. I have nothing against people who do love them. I am deathly afraid of butterflies. So you probably could scare me to death by putting some butterflies in my room. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Even if I had a butterfly animation, I would definitely try to cover your face with butterflies right now, but I don't know how to do that. All right. What else? You said something else that I wanted to comment on, and we've gone so far off topic. I don't even know.
I don't know. Let's watch a thing.
All right. You want to watch some court? You want to watch a soft sit? Abandon all reason. He went in confident, and halfway through, he's like, nope, not going to work anymore. All right, let's watch some court. Let's see if I can do this. Hey, figured it out. And I'm not going to call it. This guy isn't a full-blown soft sit, but he tries. He tries for a little bit. He definitely drops the terminology real quick. All right. That's a good idea. If you have a question, put question before it, because I'm really bad at looking at chat. So I saw that one. We can answer that one later. I'll try to mark them and start.
I'll write it down, Lisa.
Okay, I'm calling habeas corpus 21-00002. In re Douglas Edward Lockbaum. Are both sides ready?
Hey, Judge.
All right, Ms. Lockbaum, you're. Okay, are you ready to proceed, sir?
I am. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, was that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, had the state rested last week?
Judge, if we had not done so, we do so now.
Can I help you? Go ahead, Mr. Lockbaum.
So, Judge, thank you so much. What writ of habeas corpus are we working off of?
The app.
I don't know.
Slow start, apparently. Have you seen this? Have you seen this court before?
Oh, wait, no, here it is. No, it's the motion to withdraw as counsel.
Which
By the way, Lucy, I don't even remember. This guy's name is Russell Wilson, and he's an NFL quarterback, but apparently it's not him.
Judge, my
This is thanks to
understanding
Lucy,
is
by the way.
You know, the one filed February 24th by Ms. Starling.
Okay, all right, and that's the first document. That's the second. That's the second document. All right. The application for writ of habeas corpus challenging legality of arrest under said governor's warrant filed February the 24th by your attorneys.
There you go. You asked, and it was answered.
I never
Thanks,
had an
Lucy.
attorney from the beginning. I've been administering my own affairs, and it was only until the proceedings of this court where I was able to kindly thank the court for their offer of attorney, but let them know that I'm not a decedent or indigent or not capable of administering my own affairs. Kathy Starling was never granted my authority or requested by me to represent me or speak on my behalf. Now, we should be addressing my handwritten writ of habeas corpus that was submitted on December 16th and December 17th, served and submitted to the courts during even Mark Ledette's own testimony at the February 8th hearing, 2021. Mark on record states he received one of my handwritten writs of habeas corpus. He received that on December 30th, 2020. He also stated during that hearing that he was not aware.
Mr. Give me a moment, sir.
Yep.
You're commenting while you're on panel.
Man, I apologize. I'm at the front desk presiding over this matter, and I have multiple employees of the court that are on phones and other people walking by, so it's a bit hard to hear you. I'm hoping you can hear me all right. It's definitely not
All right.
any court that I've been a part of.
All right, Mr. Lockbaum. Well, we're doing all sorts of things differently with COVID.
I hear you.
I can tell you, sir, is any writ of habeas corpus you may have filed prior to the time there was a governor's warrant for your extradition was mooted by that governor's warrant for extradition, meaning that before that you were being held awaiting the governor's warrant for extradition. After the governor's warrant, when the extradition arrived, then you're being held on the governor's warrant. So the only writ that's been filed by anyone challenging the governor's warrant is the one that was filed on February the 24th.
Why then did Mark Ledette on January 27th in an email request a motion for an extension?
All right. Mr. Lockbaum, I'm not going to speculate on the state's council's reasons for doing things, but what I will tell you is the reason your attorney filed a new application for writ of habeas corpus on February the 24th of this year is that the filing of the governor's warrant or the receipt of the governor's warrant by the court set all the deadlines over and started over. And whatever you were being held on before that date, you were no longer being held on. Now you're being held on the governor's warrant. So do you wish to present any evidence on the legality of the governor's warrant or whether you are the individual named in the governor's warrant?
Kathy Starling never had authority to submit a habeas corpus, a writ of habeas corpus on my behalf. I never appointed her or requested her or even saw any instrument that she submitted to the court. So I'm confused as far as how we can even move forward and how the prosecutor has any standing in this matter.
So let me put it this way, Mr. Lockbaum.
Granting her
Call
authority.
your first witness.
I'm sorry.
Call your first witness.
So we're moving forward with a writ of habeas corpus that Kathy Starling, who was not my attorney, submitted to the court, and that's what we're proceeding with?
All right. Sir, we're moving forward on the writ of habeas corpus that we started a week ago and you've announced ready on. So do you have a witness? Do you have a motion to admit any exhibits?
Well, I'm challenging the standing of the prosecutor and the writ of habeas corpus that I never submitted, that Kathy Starling submitted, that had no authority to do so.
Okay, I will take that as a no. So both sides, and ask you, do you have anything else on the merits of your writ of habeas corpus attacking the governor's warrant?
My honor, it's not my writ of habeas corpus. I submitted a writ of habeas corpus that Mark Ledette, in his own wording and record, stated that he received on December 30th. That's a writ of right. It is a violation of the Constitution.
Right.
And these acts.
Lockbaum, that's not
representing.
what we're hearing. So I'll take that as you have no evidence to bring forward. Since you've called no witnesses and offered no exhibits, there being no case for the state to rebut, I'll ask for arguments from the state.
The argument would be that we've met all our requirements under 5113 of the Uniform Criminal Extradition Act. We've shown that, in fact, Mr. Lockbaum is the person. Through both our exhibits with the fingerprints, they match the same person as in Tennessee. There's a picture of Mr. Lockbaum associated with both those documents that were admitted as evidence. We show that he is wanted out of Tennessee. The governor's warrant at State Exhibit 1 we presented shows not only the capias and the warrants for the outstanding cases he has there, We have shown under Section 6 that he has committed acts through both the affidavit of the prosecuting district attorney of Tennessee, but also through the police reports that he committed acts while in Texas or another state, which caused a crime to be committed in Tennessee. And having met all these requirements, Judge, we'd ask that extradition be granted and we be allowed to make him available to the state of Tennessee.
Mr. Lockbaum? Your arguments?
My Honor, I object. What excuse do these prosecutors have for misaddressing and/or misimpersonating me as a foreign person, alien with respect to my country, house, and home? I'm a living flesh and blood man. I'm not a person. Mark Ledet is completely inaccurate in what he is sharing. And I would imagine on record stating this information, even his own witness. Last week on the March 2nd hearing, Todd McCrohan, in his own testimony on March 2nd, 2021, answers my question very plainly on the record under penalty of perjury, and states and confirms that I am a living flesh and blood man, that I'm not an artificial person, that I'm not a corporation, that I'm not a legal fiction, that I'm not a person. So how then is the prosecutor moving forward with a claim that he has clearly identified me as a person when his own witness stated on record that I was not, that I was a living flesh and blood man? That's his witness, not mine.
This is a time for argument, not a time for questions unless they're rhetorical questions. So I'm going to take that as a rhetorical question that you've made as part of your argument. Please continue.
All right, it's a good time to pause. What do you think about this question? Did you already respond to it? I know you're actually reading chat and I'm not, so did you respond to Lisa's question?
To Lisa's question? No, I couldn't. No, because I'm paying attention and I'm paying attention to chat. So the high profile cases. So she's just asking my opinion about whether or not cases should be televised or put on YouTube. I guess the first one was about putting it on YouTube. And again, my issue with YouTube, for all the people who think that it's transparency, I just want you to know, if you ever work in a court, there's nothing transparent. All you're seeing is what happens in the court. A whole bunch of the case does not happen inside a courtroom. So, it's partial transparency, and that's part of the problem, that people think that they're seeing everything and they're not really. I'm not a big, we're better at it than we were with OJ, right? With OJ, it turned into a huge debacle. It was more about, Marsha Clark and what she was wearing, and, Ito on whether he was smart or dumb. People get really distracted by ridiculous things because it's television and they treat it like television. But I do think it's healthy to have cases. I'm not against the production of high profile cases, but in the sense of gag orders, no, I'm a huge fan of gag orders. It is very easy to taint a jury pool. And that doesn't mean that venues get changed that frequently. It depends on the state. It depends on, I could get into a whole technical thing about if you're filing charges against cops, how often in New York they change venue for that, but they don't change venue for other types of defendants. It's sort of a different thing. But William, the reason, I don't know if you were here when I said it originally, what is distinctly different, hugely different between being open to coming into a courtroom and taping things on YouTube is that the YouTube stuff does not come down, and the YouTube stuff is subject to manipulation, which is what we all do as court watchers, right? We put out clips, we cut things where we want to. There is something about the preservation of the record that's sort of sacred, and that's lost in YouTube. And what a lot of you don't know are deals are made. Prosecutors don't win all the time. They have to bring very weak cases. I mean, sometimes the cases are like crap, okay? I've prepped witnesses before, and then they get on the stand and say the complete opposite of whatever you talked about for 2 days. And I think it was you, Colin, that we just had a case where the prosecutor, the probable cause case, where the prosecutor lost that case, right? And under normal circumstances, it was like, oh, he got hit by a chair. Was there a chair? Did people say he got hit by a chair? Okay, probable cause, and that would be it, right? But it is actually really easy for prosecutors to lose cases. And so one of the powers that prosecutors have is the possibility of deferred sentencing and the idea that you might be able to take things off your record. And if people knew that things were not going to get expunged, they would take different postures in pleading. And I'm not talking about the everyday little person that we don't care about. I'm talking about the major people that we do care about, for whom them having a plea really saves the government a ton of money and resources. So if people were not allowed to have some control over whether things remain on their record, it would affect the way the postures that people take. So there's a consequence to it. And I think that everybody's sort of casual about that because it's no big deal to them, but you're not a defendant. So when you're a defendant, it's a different story. But for gag orders, yeah, I think, the Idaho case is really tricky. And it's really tricky because you don't have a gag order and then half of the family goes off and does things. I mean, I think some of you remember that there's some complication about the mother of one of the girls there was some other issue with somebody who was defending her on something and then became a defense attorney for the guy, like for Brian Kohlberger. So things get sort of complicated in those cases. And I think that the public doesn't need to know every single thing that happens. It's not always in the best interest of the public. And to the extent that it can ruin a case, it's nice that public is interested, but at the end of the day, if it means that there's a mistrial, how beneficial was that, right? So, I mean, but I tend to be sort of conservative on those points. I know everybody's not going to agree with me, and that's fine. I also am a Jeffersonian. I happen to love disagreement, and I'm fine with it. So I'm okay if people don't agree with me. That's what makes the world go around. But those are my those are my two things, Lisa. So I'm not against now. I think judges are a little bit better at managing cases in the public scene. Like, I think the judge did a really good job with Darrell Book's case. A lot of people didn't think so. And that's the other thing that people don't think about, that the lives of judges, defense attorneys, and prosecutors are really, really difficult. Really difficult. All of you who want to see everybody doing their work every day and talk about transparency, do you want me going to your office and walking around with the camera all day and seeing what you're doing? No. So, right? Like, we take that very easily, like, oh, you're doing public service, do you want to go watch a doctor all day and make sure that he's doing the right thing? I mean, I've known doctors who literally killed people, right? They've left things in people that didn't belong there and all sorts of things. But if somebody were like, well, let's watch a doctor all day to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, half of you would be like, no, that's ridiculous, right? So it's not something to take for granted that these people's lives become very, very public, and they become, I don't know how many of you know that there was a judge a few years ago who just got murdered. She just opened her door and a former defendant just killed her, right? Like, cops put their life on the line when they're on the job, but defense attorneys are often attacked by their people. I mean, these things are not infrequent. And so to open yourself up to ridicule and everyone's opinion because they have their 5 cents about how you handle the case is not a small issue. So I don't take those things for granted, I guess. And yeah, Heather, I mean, 30 years from now, that might be a moot issue, right? Everybody might just be like, yeah, I lived my whole life on TV. But Heather, I also feel like there's an unnatural number of social media influencers who commit suicide. And I can't speak to that statistic properly, right? It could just seem that way. It could just appear that way. But it does seem a little strange about the number of them that are reported to have committed suicide. I don't think it's healthy to live your life in the public domain, but people do it. I told Colin that, if it weren't because he was so attractive and I secretly envy Heather, I would never have come on this. So.
All right. That the end of that took a little weird turn, but all right. So with that,
just joking,
with
I'm just
that,
joking.
while I'm blushing, let's continue the video.
Wait. No,
Yep.
let's go back. Let's
Yep.
talk about this for a second because it came up, the habeas issue.
Yeah,
You know,
go ahead, answer that.
as Grixie said, habeas is like one of the most fundamental rights to be brought before the court to challenge your detention, right? And usually it's people's last. People very often use it as their sort of last appeal, kind of, because there are a whole bunch of intermediate things you could do to appeal detention, you know, ask for bond, ask for release, you know, pretrial release, blah, blah, blah. But the issue, I don't know how many of you were paying attention because it was a lot of like blah, blah, back and forth. But the issue was how many habeas motions were made, like how many writs were offered. And he was saying that, I guess the court was saying that there was one that was done before the governor's warrant was issued, and then one that was done after. And once the governor's warrant is issued, the first habeas is moot, meaning it doesn't count anymore. It sort of washes out the first one because now you're not being held by that body. So the habeas is a civil action against the sheriff who is holding you, right? The people who are in charge of the detention center. So if now the governor's warrant, if you're being held pursuant to a governor's warrant for extradition, that writ is not really proper anymore because somebody else is technically holding you. So that's why there was all of that annoying babbling early. So yeah, just in case anybody cared. I don't know if you did.
No, I liked
All
it.
right.
I liked it. That. All right, now let's continue. But yeah, that was good. That was a lot of the legal mumbo jumbo that I just kind of skimmed right through. Like, I don't know. It's relevant to the case, but it's not relevant to the clip. So I just let it go. But yeah, probably should know more. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
I have clearly stated to the court, to the executive administration, to everybody, that I'm a living flesh and blood man. I am the executor of the estate. I'm here in good standing, and I am the executor over the estate that you are charging. The estate is in full faith and credit, My Honor, as I am the executor. And I'm demanding that this case be dismissed. I've been mislabeled, misapprehended by the prosecutors in Tennessee and the prosecutors here in Texas, knowingly moving forward with these false instruments. And I'm asking for the court to see and recognize me as the living flesh and blood man, as an American state national, not a capital U period, capital S period citizen. I'm owed the Constitution.
You're what, sir?
I am owed the Constitution of the United States, or the Constitution of the United States of America, both. And I'd like to remind the court, it is a capital crime to misidentify and unlawfully convert law-abiding Americans standing on their own soil with nothing that separates me from my creator, in unlawfully converting me into a legal fiction, a corporation, to try to contract or contact with me. I am fighting on behalf of my sons who told me that they were physically abused and sexually abused by a district attorney in Tennessee. And when I went to the sheriff's, this same process happened to me in Tennessee. I went to the Texas Rangers, the San Antonio FBI, Madison County Sheriff's Office. I went to the local law enforcement in San Antonio, Bexar County. I went everywhere, to the DOJ. I never fled justice. I was the one seeking justice. I am not the criminal here. I'm the victim of crime. And I'm asking for the mercy of the court and my honor to allow me to continue to fight for my sons and their well-being. As a free man, I will handle the situation in Tennessee. But please give me my rights as a father, as a husband, as a son. I'm not a corporation. I see what is going on here. I know what's going on. I've been the victim of it. And I may not be able to articulate it as strongly as Mark or anybody else that's a district attorney or assistant district attorney, but I know what's going on. And instruments of orders of protection, false warrants, corruption in the Tennessee law enforcement offices. I moved to exonerate this court and anything doing with Texas, and I want to handle things in Tennessee and get my sons back. It's been 20 months. I never did anything. I asked the court, what would you do? And it's obvious I can't fight this in here or in Tennessee. My sons told me they were afraid of being kissed like they were married, having hair in their mouth, being woken up and fondled, squeezed so tight they couldn't breathe. And I hear people in here get 10 years for strangulation.
I don't remember this part.
My life has been threatened. If you look at my history, I'm not a criminal. I've never been in trouble with the law. I don't know why this is happening. All I want to do is get my sons out of a bad situation. And because a district attorney in Madison County resigned after I asked for an investigation, they brought the whole house onto me. There is corruption. It's true. And I need help. And I've gone everywhere. Nobody will do it. On November 11th of 2019, when the state of Tennessee is claiming that I was in Tennessee and I called or did something, and the charges that are alleged against me for 2 governor's warrants is that I texted and said, please have my sons call me and you will go to prison. I never threatened anybody. I'm not charged with threatening anybody or going to somebody's residence and trying to harm them. I don't have a history of that. I'm nonviolent. I'm fighting for my sons. But on November 11, 2019, Lieutenant Jesse Valdez of the Texas Rangers and Kevin Callahan of the Texas Rangers spent almost 2 hours with me and my wife. A corporation can't have a wife and a corporation can't have sons. Our home, and we told them this information. And if needed, I can give you the recording and the video of them sitting in my office, in my home. And I told them what was happening, told them about the threats to our lives. And nobody's done a thing. And now the same people who are covering up the child abuse, crimes against children, are potentially going to be allowed to come extradite me and put me in this situation where you can't fight for anything in this situation. I will handle things. I want to see my sons. It's been 20 months. There's not a day that's gone by that I haven't fought for them. And nobody will help. Judge Wilson, I'm asking you for help. I'm asking Mark for help. I'm asking Cindy. These people here. I'm a grown man crying here because nobody will help me, and I'm angry. And it's wrong, and nobody will help. My 4 sons. I will handle it. I need your help, Judge. Please let me walk out of here and handle this. Put a monitor on me. Do whatever you need to do. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I just want to get my son. But I can't fight for them in here. I can't fight for them in there. And my life has been threatened. Judge, I'm not lying to you. I swear under oath. Their lives have been threatened. My life has been threatened. I have recordings, I have video, I have audio, I have everything. Allow me to present charges here of child abuse. Let me bring the evidence to you or somebody. We're running a fiscal audit of the books in Tennessee. The hours or days away that will show the fiduciary fraud that's happening. I have all the instruments, and I may not be able to articulate it. I'm pro se, but I see it. I just need help. I've spent over $60,000 with attorneys that have told me one thing: they're going to get disbarred. They have no standing. People are going to get arrested. And then the moment we get into court, something changes. Now all of a sudden I'm this thing, this entity, and I have no rights, and they don't help my sons. Now, maybe because I'm going off script here, I'm hurting myself. I got no other.
He said it. He's off script.
I think that you know, understand what I'm saying, but I'm just not equipped with the sharp tools to share that. This is not my landscape right now. I believe this will be for the rest of my career, to help others that are going through this and to do good. But I'm not there yet. I need help. I just go and help my sons. That's it. I'm not going to go. Whatever they've claimed to stop since November, apparently, Hugh Harvey in Tennessee shared that I wasn't violent. They tried to keep me without bond in San Antonio. Judge Carruthers didn't want a part of it. Issued bond, allowed me an ankle monitor to handle the affairs in Tennessee. And I've made mistakes. I regret those mistakes. But what was I supposed to do? Let a piece of paper when people have threatened me and my wife and my children and cover up child abuse and not advocate peacefully? I don't know any other parent who wouldn't have done other things. I tell my story to people and they say, I can't believe that you're not in prison for harming somebody. I have calls with District Attorney Jody Pickens, Danny Goodman, Jerry Estes. I have calls with everybody. I've never been unprofessional, rude, because I had to advocate for my children. TJ King was a history with Ralph Hazelhurst and the Hazelhurst. Has goaded me many times and threatened me on audio, and so the other sheriffs. I've never once responded in a way that would have me in dishonor. I'm acting in honor. I'm seeking honor. I'm in good faith. I've been drained financially. My career has been ruined. I used to make $190,000 a year as an executive leader for 18 years. I can't get a job because of what's on my background in Madison County. I make pizzas at Pizza Hut and Papa John's. I've been extorted for $11,000 of back due child support that I paid $6,500 a month for. One thing after another, the courts have been used to ruin my life and steal my kids and threaten my life and my children's life. And I'm asking you, please, Honor, allow me to walk out of here and fight this.
Mr. Lockbaum, you're talking.
All right, you don't have to answer this with more than just a couple words. But at what time does a judge just say stop? So he wasn't doing anything for his case at that point. After the first 10 seconds of him talking, all he was doing was begging. At what point does the judge just say stop? Like, you're not helping yourself.
You asked me that question?
Yeah, I'm asking you that question.
Okay. Honestly, okay. So you guys remember DeSanto's escapade with the gentleman who was, who had run away to a different location in the hotel.
The guy from my intro. I'm flirting with the judge.
Yes, I'm flirting with the judge. Yes, and that was 3 hours, right? That she did that. And I mean, obviously, she had a reason for it, and she was trying to get the police to locate him. Blah blah blah. But and then you've seen her with many other cases where she's just like bench warrant, right? Or she'll stop them early, or then she'll let other people cry much longer. The reality is, judges are human, and you're dealing with humans, and sometimes somebody just needs to be heard. And if you allow them to be heard, they calm down. And so the idea like, oh, they're wasting people's time or whatever is sort of ridiculous. That's what leads to a lot of anger, right? You guys remember that Judge Simpson was with, I can't remember his name. You guys know his name. The one who's always in court. He's appeared in a wheelchair before, but the domestic violence. Jeremy Shue. Yeah, Jeremy Shue. And you might not have seen, but if you watch some of his television appearances, not the ones on Zoom court, but the ones that TV recorded, if you go back to like Court TV or A&E, where he was like absolutely crazy, and because he has a long record, long record. He gets very agitated very easily. But you see how Judge Simpson was talking to him in a particular way, and he was much calmer. Sometimes it just pays to listen to people and let them get what they need to get out. And some people have actually advocated for themselves and have been heard. And, it's not a million of them, but sometimes it works in your favor. So, the answer is these are all judgment calls everybody makes. It's a judgment call you make as a defendant. If you're I've been in a situation where I was desperate. That's why I say to people, and I'll say this very blatantly, I have never thought that I'd ever want to kill a person until the squatters that lived next door to me made me want to do it. I never thought I would do that in my life. It was the farthest thing. But I went to government agency after government agency to secure assistance with no help. And then some agencies, you were a little suspicious as to why they weren't helping and started to worry about what their self-interest was. And that's a long story. But my point is, it's easy to judge people when you're not in that position. I don't know maybe he has a valid claim about whatever's happening to his kids, or maybe he's suffering from some mental illness where he believes he has a valid claim. Either way, he sounds genuine in whatever issue that he's proposing. And he's like, I'm not getting help from anywhere. So is it hurting someone to listen to him? If it's not, they don't have a busy docket and they don't have 15 people lined up, then I don't really see what the harm is, right? It's just a judgment call. That's my point.
That was a really good answer. You know what my answer was, and you just blew my answer out of the water. I thought he was a Broncos fan, and the judge's name is Russell Wilson, so I thought he was just begging for some wins. That's what I thought it was. Only a sports person would think like that, right? I don't even think like that, but you're right. Maybe I listen to New Yorkers more than I'll listen to anybody else. There's a chance, especially if you're from Brooklyn, right? I'll suffer other New Yorkers, or if you're from Central or Northern, Ithaca. All right. I know Ithaca. All right. This is almost done. And then we're going to take a little pause, and we'll try to answer some of the questions that we missed. And it does lighten up. It does lighten up. Just so you're aware, it's not all doom and gloom with this soft sit that's already abandoned it. That's another thing I was worried that it was on my head. I said, no one's helping me. I abandoned my script. Like, you started it. You were all in when you were saying you weren't a corporate entity, and then you just threw it away real quick. Then just start crying. All right, let's go.
About a lot of things that it sounds like you need to fight, but they need to be fought in Tennessee. They need to be litigated in Tennessee.
I have to get it on record. Nobody will take it.
My charge is to enforce the law in court, and not to go out and right the wrongs of the entire world, sir. Even if you were saying that this was happening in Travis County, I'd say that you would have to litigate that and get that investigated and taken care of in Travis County, Texas. I have absolutely no jurisdiction to do anything in Tennessee. That's going to be handled by state court or federal court in Tennessee.
I tried. My honor, I thought that if I told responsible people that they had a duty to stop a wrong from continuing or prevent a wrong from happening, I'm reading everything that I can get my hands on, try to figure out this landscape, and it changes with moving goalposts everywhere that I go, and nobody will help me. I've spent everything. What would you do if it was your son? Or Cindy, if it was your son, grandchildren? Because I don't have family that's involved in the courts or friends, or I haven't.
Just so everyone's aware, that's not Deborah or I. That's phones ringing. It's someone in court. Just making that clear.
Work here that I can't get help. That's what it is in Tennessee. That's not right.
I don't know what it's like in Tennessee. I can tell you that I'm not sure where you're going with some of your arguments, sir. You said you're entitled to deserve the Constitution, or you're entitled to it, and you're right. Article 4, Section 2 says that a person charged in any state who can be found in another state on demand of the executive from which they fled shall be delivered up to be removed to the state having jurisdiction of the crime. The state of Tennessee has filed the proper paperwork saying that it has jurisdiction over you, and I don't know if that's true, but whether they got it right or wrong is not something that the court in Texas can litigate. You're going to have to litigate that in Tennessee. Overrule the writ of application for writ of habeas corpus to challenge the governor's warrant. I'll ask the state's attorney, Mr. Leday, to prepare whatever I need to sign reflecting that and allowing the clock to start ticking for the Tennessee officials to come to Floresville. And how long do they have to make that happen?
I'm not sure offhand, Judge.
I'm not either.
Can I say I just love this attorney
Right,
that's
is there
reading the
anything else we need to
dictionary
do
while
today?
he's in court?
Not from state, Judge.
Right, then this matter is concluded. I'm going to leave the meeting. I'll ask Ms. Riley to terminate the Zoom trial.
Thank you, John.
All right, that ends that one. Now we're gonna. All right, I gotta pause it for this one. All right, this next one, Debbie, I told you a little bit about this. It's funny, but I completely took this clip from a news source, so I have to pause it halfway through. I'm gonna let the introduction come in, and then I'm gonna pause it, and then we're gonna laugh a little bit, and then I'm gonna play the rest. Just so you know, I don't know the rules of running other people's content, but this isn't court content. But it's funny. It's funny. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh.
The side of a truck now has a ticket from the DeSoto County deputies. In a Facebook post, DeSoto County put the Chevy Silverado's red and blue lights on blast, claiming that this truck has been impersonating law enforcement. But when you jump into the comments, you see people saying this is a show truck and no one is being pulled over. When you look closely, you find the owner of the truck, and sure enough, his Facebook is flooded with pictures and videos like this, showing off the Booty Patrol truck, lights flashing and all, and claiming that he has never had the lights on while driving. Well, today, deputies say that they found that truck and the driver, and they gave him a ticket. The Booty Patrol has sparked a debate about what's legal and what's not when it comes to customizing your cars. Wink News reporter Michael Hudak joins us now live. So, Michael, what is the issue with the Booty Patrol vehicle?
All right, this is when it gets good. I'm just gonna say that this guy understood came to getting this story. He kills this. It's hilarious. I really hope he wrote this himself and he doesn't have a writer and he's this good. Have you heard this story yet, Debbie?
No, actually, no, I haven't. That's why I put Jeremy DeWitt in the chat. If you guys don't know who he is, you really should look him up because it's interesting. And it's Florida.
He actually tried to look like a police officer. This guy was just out there.
I know. Yeah, I know. There's a huge difference.
It says Booty Patrol on the side.
It's Booty Patrol, exactly.
But he had that he never turned on when he was driving. He only turned them on when he was like doing his little photo session. So that's where the law becomes a little hairy, I think.
It's not even about turning them on. It's about having them.
That's what he's charged with. He's charged with just having them.
Yeah.
All right, but let's let it play. Up and ahead. But that's what he was charged with just possessing them. All right. Mm-hmm. This guy's hilarious.
Russ, the answer is in the booty, meaning inside of the booty truck. You see, there are no legal ramifications for those kinds of decals that you're about to see in this video. The real violation are the lights that he used to impersonate a law enforcement officer. Florida Statute 316.2397 says a person may not have a red and white, or blue light visible from directly in front of their vehicle, thus marking the last time that the Booty Patrol could be so cheeky. Wink News shows showed you this truck on Monday night, decked out from front to booty with booty control, sitting on the asphalt. Except this was no officer of the law. He was trying to be an officer of your derriere. And that's not even the butt of the joke. The DeSoto County Sheriff's Office first posted on social media asking for the public's help in identifying who the booty man was. They're like, he ain't with us, but he's pretending to be us, and he's not allowed to patrol the booty. Then in the comment section of that post, the booty man commented, admitting that he was the booty troll. So let's put this all together here. The decals on the side of the car are not a problem at all. It's the lights that he had on top of the vehicle that were impersonating an officer of the law, when in reality, he was not an officer of anything, not even the booty. Reporting in Lee County, Michael Hudak, Wink News.
I loved it. I thought that was a good break after that crying fake sob citizen. I thought that was a good break. You gotta watch out for the booty patrol.
Too many puns. They should have been charged with too many puns.
They probably were, but at the same time, that guy's probably like now I'm saying like too many times. He wants to be a professional, right? And they give him that story, and he's like, "All right, you're gonna give me this story. I'm just gonna run with it. I'm gonna make my own story out of it." And he went to town on it. I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing. Like, other people are covering, like, it's Florida. It's Florida. You're getting crazy stories left and right in Florida, and you give me the booty patrol. All right, I'm gonna make this work then. I mean, Florida Man is. Have you ever done the Florida Man challenge?
No, I don't know what is that.
Google Florida Man and put in your birthday, and read the very first headline.
Okay. All right.
Can you do that quickly? Because I want to hear. I want to hear it. I'll tell you mine.
Okay. So Florida Man, two words.
Yeah. Florida Man,
my,
2 words.
My birthday in numbers or my birthday in letters?
I don't think it matters. Just
okay. The whole thing.
I'm just doing Florida Man and then the day and month is all I'm doing. It's the Florida Man challenge. And then you read the first headline.
A Florida man confessed Wednesday to raping and murdering a 16-year-old. Thanks. That's what I get.
That's what you got? I got a Florida man hit mother, stuffed dumplings in her mouth, and for refusing to dress as mannequin.
Oh, come on. Yours is fun. Mine is obscene.
I got to read that again because I started laughing halfway through. Florida man hit mother, stuffed dumplings in her mouth for refusing to dress as mannequin.
Okay, that was pretty bad. But mine was raping and murdering a 16-year-old. Not good at all.
Thanks for saying that. Thanks for saying that on the air.
I know. Well, I mean, you asked me to read it. You know, I followed that.
I did.
Okay, this one is harmless. Florida man leaves shoes outside overnight. There you go. That one isn't bad.
How dare him? How dare him? You got the. I would prefer, the mother not dressing the mannequin and leaving the shoes outside. Who does that?
I think he's gonna discover dozens of something in his shoes. Oh, millipedes. Oh, that was disgusting. Thanks a lot. And the picture came up. Oh, gross.
You're only supposed to read the headline. Okay, don't go further into it.
I go down the rabbit hole. I'm a rabbit hole kind of girl. And other people are writing their Florida man stories over here.
Okay, let's read some. You're in the chat. You read them out loud.
Okay. Grixie has Florida man hit dad in face with pizza after learning he helped deliver him. Okay, I'm pretty sure that is a joke on Grixie's part. I'm hoping.
Grixie doesn't joke about anything. Grixie is the most straightforward, honest person I've ever met in my life. I shouldn't have said honest. I don't know. I made it sound sarcastic, but he's honest. Yeah, I was just trying to stay sarcastic, and I used the word honest when being sarcastic. Grixie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Wasn't a shot at you.
Paula has Florida man and baby cakes caught naked in a chair outside. What the heck are baby cakes?
I don't want to know what baby cakes are. Please don't read any more into that.
Okay, I'm not going to read any more. Okay, Annette, it's probably because you have like Google and it's matching what you're. what you just saw on YouTube or something. But Annette has Florida man arrested for impersonating police officer. Okay, Lisa gave us Florida man arrested for pelting girlfriend with McDonald's. Oh, I know. I watched that one. I watched that one on one of the cop videos. I watched that one, Lisa.
That's always the best when you've seen the stories before.
Yeah, I didn't know he got arrested though. Unless it's another girlfriend with sweet and sour packs, then I'd be like, okay, Florida is getting a little crazy.
I think Phil wins this one.
Oh, Jonathan has Florida man arrested after drive-through meltdown over lack of lettuce. I mean, seriously, if you're eating a Big Mac and you don't have enough lettuce falling out of it, it's a fail.
That's McDonald's fault. That's not his fault. He should be acquitted of all charges.
Exactly. That's my point. It's a fail on McDonald's point, right?
I know.
Okay, I'm not reading.
You have to forget us. All right. We're done with this. All
right. That was a fun diversion.
It's funny that,
especially since Colin, you know what? You don't like polls, and I respect that. I respect it. But you know, polls gather people around a common theme. So this was a way to gather people around a common theme without a poll, right?
You're right. You're very right. The reason I don't like polls is I don't like forced commentary and forced communication. I don't want people forced to think that they have to answer a poll, because that's how you off. They try to bump up your interaction numbers, and a poll bumps it up. So if you have, right now I have almost 200 people watching this. If I put a poll out, I would hope to get 80 people out of that 200 to respond to the poll, and that adds to the interaction on the video. So I get what they're doing, but I don't like forced interaction. I don't like that. If people want to talk, they can talk. I don't want to ask a silly question and hope they answer it. And I'm not hating on people that do it. They do it for a reason, and it helps the YouTube numbers. But unless it's something interesting,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I just like it because I think it's fun. I think it's a fast way to find. I guess I prefer them to people answering in the chat. I always thought it was just a nice way of getting everybody together and seeing what their opinions are. See, I'm not taking it from the mercenary point of view, because I didn't even know that was a thing. And I use polls a lot. I'm an instructor, so I use polls a lot in teaching. So I don't think about it from that perspective. And Colin, you would not want me to teach you because I'm one of those people who force questions on people. Everybody in my class always has to talk.
Here's the thing, though. I was the best student in the class every single time. I sat in front row. I was early every day. I did all my assignments. I never missed a class, and I was interactive in class. I would have been your best student. That being said, polls make a difference when you're teaching a class. Then
Then a social. I get you.
Like people trying to make money off it. So the more clicks I have, doesn't matter what it is. It could be a like, it could be a dislike. If my video even comes up on your feed and you don't click it, it's counted as an interaction. If you just see my video, so every single interaction that comes up as my video on your screen, it counts towards interactions on mine. So polls are just forced interactions. So if you have a good question to ask, do it. But I'm not hating on channels, but the channels that just throw out polls to throw out polls, that's just forced interactions, and I don't like that.
Paul is saying goodbye, so I wanted to make sure we say thanks, Paula, for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good night.
I see that too. Here, I'll bring you up, Paula. Thank you so much for coming. All right. I put together an hour-long video. We're 2 clips in. We're only halfway through the video, so I don't know if we're going to make it through all of these.
Okay, sorry about that. We can just stop talking and just go for it.
We'll never stop talking. If you're a guest on my channel, no, everyone's appreciating this and they're having fun. So we're just gonna play through. I don't know what's next. Oh, this is kind of a serious.
Good morning, Mr. Jara.
That's why we had to have a little laugh.
Of assaulting a family member with a previous conviction. Francisco Macias is your court-appointed lawyer. Your bond is currently set.
I'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Go ahead, Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Jara is 38 years old. He's a United States citizen. He lives at 5325 Mace, that's Mace, and that's in El Paso, Texas. He's been there his whole life, born and raised in El Paso. He has provided a verification name, Isidro Carrillo, and a phone number. He's single, judge, no children. Again, he's lived here his whole life. Currently has $0 to pay towards a bond. He is employed as a cook or a dishwasher at the El Paso Country Club. He's been there for about a year. He suffers from depression. His arrests involve, I guess he has never been to prison. He has been on a probation that was completed. The last arrest I'm showing was 2013, but my records are not complete. I don't know. Judge, the facts of this case involve his uncle. His uncle is a complaining witness. He does not live with his uncle. He lives with his grandfather. The uncle came to the grandfather's house and apparently punched Mr. Jara in the face. And this is not the first time his uncle has punched him in the face, apparently. Judge, we would ask the court consider a PR bond so that he can get back to work before he loses his job. And he does promise to comply with all conditions of his PR bond if the court does grant that. Thank you, Your Honor.
Briggs?
Judge, his convictions are for assault family violence in 04, possession of marijuana convictions in 08, in 10 and 11, unauthorized use of motor vehicle in 2013, VPO in 2013, resisting in 2014, assault in 2015, inhalant abuse ×2 in 2020, abusive calls to 911 in 2020. There's another inhalant abuse case in 2022, and in 2022, a criminal trespass in a habitation. The report indicates that he does not live at Mace, that is his grandfather's apartment, that the defendant is homeless and the grandfather feels sorry for him and lets him stay there from time to time. The uncle went over to the house to check on his father. The defendant was there. The defendant was using inhalants inside of the home, and that's what upset the uncle. And the uncle told the defendant that he leave the defendant's grandfather, the uncle's father, apparently has breathing issues, and the uncle didn't want the defendant huffing in the house because of the fumes. And as they were going to walk out, the defendant sucker punched the uncle one time in the face, and then also assaulted him an additional 3 times in the face. So he does not apparently have permanent ties at that address. That's the only address where he has a family member who will occasionally let him crash there.
If Mr. Jara, I'm going to reduce your bond to $5,000 cash or corporate surety, no PR component. Thank you, sir. Good luck. I'm sorry?
We're going to get released today?
No. Well, if you post a $5,000 bond, the answer is yes, sir. You will.
It's about to go down.
The other judge said I was going to be able to do the PR bond.
I don't know which judge you're talking about. I'm the judge that's making that determination today, and the answer is no. You're getting a $5,000 corporate surety bond.
When would I get released?
As soon as you post the bond.
I don't have money to post the bond.
Okay, well then you'll stay in jail until your case progresses.
So I'm going to lose my job.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jara. Good luck to you, sir.
And then one case, that's one murder of you guys.
What did he say?
I'll give you a, no, I'll stop the judge.
Joshua Blows.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that ending?
No.
the security guard just saved that dude's ass.
Yeah, that's what I was
security
thinking.
guard-
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the guy said, "I have one case." He said, "I have one case. Fuck you guys." And he walked away. And the judge is like, "What did you just say?" And the security guy was, "I was talking. I was the one talking. I was talking to him."
Oh,
It's like,
okay.
that's a security guard that needs a
That's pretty
promotion.
sweet.
He like that. Yeah, the judge. Judge On does not mess around, man. He would have brought him right back and like, you're in contempt now. He would
See,
not have
that's
stopped that.
That's another thing. Like everybody in the chat is always like, oh, I don't understand why that judge didn't issue contempt. Didn't issue contempt. Judges are not in the habit in general, short of you being Judge Stevens or something, of constantly issuing contempt. It's a pain in the butt to do, so they don't just do it. And you don't want jail staff taken up with little petty things. Sometimes it doesn't even have the effect that you want it to have because they're going to be in jail for something else anyway. So they don't bother. But everybody thinks that like the minute somebody says something, oh, why didn't the judge issue contempt? I'm like, the same reason why every student that mouths off as a teacher doesn't get detention. Like, you have discretion and you use it. You don't just do things like that all the time. It's not worth it.
That's a fair analogy. That's actually really fair. I get that.
Yeah, thank you, Christy.
What Christy said, jail is overcrowded. Yeah. But if you're already there, though, I don't know. I'm not going to comment about that. You know more than I do, but that makes sense. The teacher analogy makes sense. I know plenty of kids in school that should have been kicked out. I also know from college kids that gotten locked out of school or locked out of the class because they were 1 minute late. Oh yeah.
Oh. We're not going to talk about that. I had professors in law school who shall remain nameless. Because you can tell what law school I went to.
Because they might be watching.
Well, no, if people look me up, you could tell what law school I went to. So I don't want to say anything. But we have professors in law school who did that crap. And I was like, you lucky you didn't have me in your class because you would have been calling the police on me. I'm like, absolutely not. You don't know what I'm doing. I think that sometimes people are too obsessed with how students are learning. So in the beginning, I used to, when cell phones first came out, for you youngsters who are used to cell phones, when they first came out, when I was in law school, Facebook had just started. So just to give you some idea.
So we're about the same age. We're about the same age. Not that I was in law school at the time, but
you could have asked me my age. I would have told you.
I'm not going to ask you that. I'm 39.
We're not even close, sweetheart. Okay. We're not even the same world. So yeah, like when I was teaching,
like I was in my third year of college when Facebook came out.
Yeah, I was in law school, and I didn't go straight to law school.
That's only what, 2 years later. All right. We won't argue about this. We won't argue about this.
Thank you, Annette. That's true, and Annette, I hope I'm saying Annette properly unless you have a different pronunciation.
Don't try to pronounce whatever word is after Annette because
what Bellefeuille? De Bellefeuille. It's like pretty flowers. I forget. No, not flowers. My French is killing me here. I know what that means in my head. I don't know. Okay, so Heather, thank you for your lies. I appreciate them. Unlike Mayor, who can't go along with the compliments I try to give him. So, but seriously, when it comes to professors, I remember an African guy saying this on a radio show or something one time, and he was like, Americans are so obsessed with class attendance, and in Europe, no one cares if you attend class, just if you pass your exams. And I was like, yeah, how true. So and I mean, that's a blanket statement. It doesn't apply to all of Europe, but no, I had professors who had all of these ridiculous rules, or who are like, I don't think you guys did enough reading, and I'm going to walk out of class. And I'm just like, stop being. If there's one person in this class who's listening to you, then you should be teaching to that one person. So in the beginning, when cell phones came out, I had all of these rules, like, you don't look at your phone shouldn't be out, and you shouldn't be talking on your phone. Or if you've been looking at your phone, I'm not answering your questions. And then I just realized, like, you know what, just embrace it and not create more stress for me, and it creates more stress for the classroom. Like, as much as I love Judge Bryant, and I really, really did like her, sometimes she got a little extra. Sometimes she was just a little extra. Like, she just went on so long about somebody's attitude or rolling the eyes that I'm like, you are just holding up your own docket, right? You know, you don't have to look at everybody's high eye roll and neck posture and side face like every single time and take it personal. That, to me, that just raises your blood pressure, and you're not doing anything. It's not safe. It's not enhancing anything, right? So I just learned to say, yeah, if I'm going to be disruptive coming into class, that's different. Or if somebody's going to come in late and then want to ask 5 million questions, that's different. But I don't know what's going on in somebody's world. They paid their tuition. If they come to class in the last half hour, that's fine. If I want to take it off of participation, I could do that, you know, that. But I think that people's egos get in the way of whatever they're supposed to be doing, which is why I do not watch Judge Stevens. And I know a lot of people like him. I cannot stand him. And I just won't watch him, like, at all. I'm like, I don't want to be annoyed, so I'm not watching you. Because some people are just, it's too much ego. I'm like, I'm not a, your ego has to get out the way so you could do your job properly. It's like, oh, you know, the citizens of Texas didn't elect me. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe half of the citizens in your jurisdiction elected you and half didn't want you. So what about that half, right? Do you care about that half? I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things. I don't know. It's a pet peeve. So now that I finished my rants, you could keep going.
Yeah, I just quickly, Judge Stevens is very old school from what I see. I've only been watching court for maybe 2 years now, and he's very like a grandfather, and you can tell he treats younger attorneys differently than he treats the older attorneys. And I had that marijuana case probably about a month ago where he went off on, he revoked someone's bond for buying legal, I don't know, was it Delta 9, Delta 8, whatever it is. I'm not up to I don't know what it was, but about something legal that he can buy legally at a grocery store, and he got his bond revoked for it. There was a huge conversation about it. I saw both sides of it, but he revoked his bond for it. He's like, all right, I'm revoking his bond. If you want to have a hearing, we're going to have a hearing. So I get what you're saying. I do enjoy him putting people in timeout, though. Go sit in timeout. We'll talk in a minute. I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. Stop talking. Stop talking. You're in timeout. Go sit in the jury box. I'll bring you back up in about 20 minutes. I love that. He does. It's like once a docket, there's somebody that he puts in. At the same time, though, I can only watch Judge Stevens for so long. All right. Let's go to the next clip, though. I think we've talked enough about that. I don't even know what's coming now. Oh, this one's kind of fun.
All right, this is
You're gonna like this one.
180558
I put this one up.
and 182248, the People versus Johnson Knight. Sir, can you tell me your name?
Johnson Knight.
All right, Mr. Knight, you had a right to meet with an attorney. Is that accurate?
Yeah, yes.
And did you waive that right to speak with him?
Yes.
All right. Well, he's present in the courtroom and he wants to put something on the record as it relates to your charges. Do you have any issue with that?
No.
All right. All right, Mr. Fanto.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jeffrey Fanto. Well, I appreciate Mr. Knight wanting to speak with me. I would move based upon the fact that in both his driving license suspended cases, the officers are no longer available. It's our understanding with the city attorneys that they dismissed those matters. And so the two driving license suspended from 2018 should be dismissed, which would just remain or leave $1,314 due on his civil infractions.
All right. Did you hear all that, Mr. Knight?
Yes.
You want him to represent you now?
Yes.
Yeah? Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. so as his counsel, Mr. Fanto, I will be dismissing both misdemeanor matters 0558 and 2248 as the officer is no longer available. So those two cases are dismissed. Sir, you owe $834 on the civil infractions.
That's on the 2248 case. On the 0558 case, he owes 480, so it's a total of 1314.
1314, sir, you owe $1,300 and $1,314 total on the civil infractions. You need a payment plan?
Yes.
What can you pay a month?
I can pay, what I get paid Friday?
How much a month? Or a number that you're comfortable with every month.
I can pay 100 every month.
100 a month?
Mhm.
Starting November 15th. Okay,
Okay.
all right, sir, you're all set. Have a good day.
Thanks.
That's right back to the.
Thank you.
Mr. Rogers.
I only played that because I thought it was hilarious. The guy's like, I didn't talk to this attorney. I don't want him representing me. And the attorney walks up and is like, I've gotten everything dismissed except for this one case where you owe $1,300 and everything else is dismissed. And then Judge Shockman was like, do you want him to represent you now? He's like, yeah. I thought it was funny. I think we're moving to the last case. The last case it's a lawyer case. This is one where I put in here for your point of view. I think it's the last case. Yep. I think this is the last one.
Ms. Langford, you're before the court on 2023 CR 09484. Lakia Langford. You're before the court for simple battery and you're represented by Ms. Hahn, who's your attorney. Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true? Courtroom has to unmute.
Sorry, Your Honor.
All right.
Don't hate on.
Do you understand?
Booty patrol.
Do you are you going to tell the truth for me, Miss Langford?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So you're entering a plea of nolo. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Ms. Langford?
Yes.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On September the 20th of 2023, Deputy Ford, the Clayton County Sheriff's Office, was assigned to investigate a simple battery that occurred at 9157 Terra Boulevard in Clayton County, Georgia. At that time, the officer spoke with the Officer Banks, who advised that while feeding in one of the housing units, at that time, the inmate, Miss Latasha Langford, spit on Officer Banks. And they were doing that situation. The state is recommending 12 months to serve, 30 days, and the balance be suspended, Your Honor.
All right, is she in for something else?
What do you think, Debbie?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Langford, I'm going to accept your plea of nolo. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 30 days, balance suspended, as long as you have no new violations of the law. And as long as you promise me you're not going to be spitting on anybody.
Yes, So, Your Honor, I just want to also put on the record that I do have some concerns, but they don't rise to the level of competency.
Okay.
Miss Langford, she has been in custody since 2022. She does have these other pending charges, but
They're not in state court, are they?
they are not, Your Honor. So I did explain to Ms. Langford that this court would not be able to address those charges.
Miss Langford, so you got the upstairs judge and the downstairs judge. I'm the downstairs judge, and so I can't do anything with the upstairs judge's charges. But this case, we're going to get rid of the misdemeanor, but you still have charges upstairs, okay?
Yeah, but I thought they told me it was a misdemeanor. I don't know.
Speak up a little bit for me.
I thought they told me that it was a misdemeanor. It was criminal trespass and thereby receiving at the airport and awfully baggage remover.
Okay, I don't know about the stuff upstairs. You may be able to work that out once your case is opened up there, or once you get before a judge up there. But this is what I have down here. And so we're going to go ahead and resolve this today.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no more spitting, Miss Langford, okay?
So could you give me, because since I already been here for a while, I've been here for like ever since 12/27 of 2022, and now it's going on December of another year, almost 2 years I've been here.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know what's going on with that. Miss Hahn?
Get a 4-star button. Your Honor, I mean, my understanding, and this may just be my own personal misunderstanding, but I understand that now that she's out on her state court charges, that a motion to modify her bond and release her, I would assume would have to be done by a superior court judge, I thought.
But I mean, it's not like she committed a crime of sincere violence. Did she do one of the 7?
No, she didn't. No, I mean, she's being held on just a criminal trespass and a theft by receiving in superior court, and that's it. And she's been here for a year.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
I agree.
In jail for a year for trespassing and a theft on receiving. And I think they said already that earlier in the video that it was a 93-day misdemeanor, and she's been there for a year. And yeah, it's crazy to me. What do you think? What do you think? How often does that kind of thing happen?
Oh, you're gonna ask me statistics? That I can't answer. As a matter of fact, it ties really well into to Lisa's question on indictments and speedy trials, which so you know the
okay. Let me rephrase the question then.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rephrase, because you could have gone on for like 10 minutes on that probably, because it wasn't a very specific question.
I have to answer Lisa's question anyway, so it doesn't.
All right. Well, you answered Lisa's question real quick, and then I'll keep going.
Okay.
What was Lisa's question? I
real
missed Lisa's
quick.
question.
I love the real quick. Okay, so
I don't mean real quick. You can talk as long as you want. As long as we're up here by 8 o'clock, we've got an hour and a half left.
I'm going to
We've
look
got
at
about 20 minutes of video.
Let's
20
look
minutes
at
of video
things people are
left,
saying.
but I have to be off by 8 o'clock.
No, I know you have the bank. Like I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
So see, No says we should fight it out. We're gonna do that. Oh my God, I just remembered that
let's fight it out then.
I did some really bad. Thank God people didn't put things on YouTube back then, because if people did put things back on YouTube, there's a reason I won't run for office. That's all I have to say. Okay. But
I've got it saved. Don't worry. I've got it saved.
You just reminded me that with the fight it out, and you just brought a flashback. I won't go into detail. Anyway, okay, so Annette is right. It does happen very often. And Becky's right. It happens when no one on the outside is hollering for you. I mean, whatever people want to say, and I think people really, again, it's one of the things I'm not in love with YouTube court, is that I get to see people sort of callous responses, and they might be just doing it in jest. They may not really feel that way, and I recognize that. But these are people's lives, right? These are real human beings. They're not TV characters. It's not a reality show. These are people's lives, and And poverty is a disadvantage to justice. It's just not. If anybody thinks it's equal, this is I'm going to say something very contentious. Don't yell at me, but I was in college when the O.J. Simpson trial came out, and I went to a predominantly white institution, and the pictures that came out in the newspaper, the school newspaper, showed all of the Black kids in a corner, because we used to be in a particular corner, celebrating when O.J. was acquitted, and all of the angry looking white people. Okay, so it was just a really interesting dynamic, right? And people really made note of it. They posted it everywhere. And a lot of my friends were like, well, I don't understand, like, how could you as a woman, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, the reality for a lot of Black people is that we understand that justice is not colorblind. And so sometimes we like to know that money is an equalizer for all people. And that's hard for people to understand. But it really is a difference between whether you have money or whether you don't, what neighborhoods you come from, what addresses, what zip code you live in. You could see the difference between the kind of individual attention you could get being in Middleton's court versus being in Simpson's court, just by the nature of the volume, the density of the population, and things of that nature. This happens a lot. It shouldn't have happened. To answer Lisa's question, Georgia is ridiculous. I mean, you could be in jail for 2 years on an indictment for a misdemeanor, or you could wait for 2 years for an indictment. You might not be in jail that period of time. You may not, and that frequently you are not. And they can take 4 years to indict you for a felony, and you could be in jail for that long. And speedy trial does not apply. Speedy trial kicks in after the indictment or after the charge is brought. So those are huge issues, right? So that's why a lot of times you'll see people say time served, because by the time your case was brought to trial. So Georgia's gotten slammed on that. And because of that, you could see that they're racing through the dockets and they're pushing forward everybody's case who hasn't been held and who's been in trial long. They're pushing them ahead of anything that comes that's coming up more recently, because they've a number of cases have been brought against them for that reason. But
Judge Manning in her entire district in Fulton County just started a completely new calendar to try to counteract that. I don't remember what the name of the calendar is, but there's emergency vehicles outside, but in Fulton County, they have this different calendar now that they show every day. That's people that have been in jail for so long and not indicted.
It is actually really scary. And I'm going to tell you, I went to Rikers. If you've ever been, I think Judge DeSantos said it one time about not wanting to go to the Weld County Jail, or even the boy that we were talking about earlier, who was like, I can't go back there. I don't think I could make it 5 seconds in Rikers. Like, I honestly, some of these jails are no joke. They are not a cup of, they're not a, cakewalk or whatever you want to call it. They are violent, disgusting places. You don't have anywhere to poo. You don't have any place to eat. You eat where you poo, where you drink water, it's gross, disgusting, and unsanitary. And again, a lot of people might be like, well, if you don't want to be in jail, don't do the crime. But we're talking about people who are in jail pre-trial, right? So they're presumed innocent. And so Lisa's saying, she's asking, should we have a constitutional amendment? It doesn't happen as often in federal courts. Federal detention, the worst case of federal detention that's really long standing is immigration. Immigration courts, Homeland Security, they can hold you in there for 1 million years. And it's actually really, really sad.
Hey, Debbie, I need to interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm really close to all my neighbors, and the fact that
go ahead. If you want to go look.
So I'm going to play it. You can continue talking. You can do your thing, but I'm going to play it. But I need to walk away for a second. Lisa, real quick, I've got a couple of your questions noted down, but I thought Deborah was answering them in the chat because I kept seeing her talking. So I don't know. I've got 3 of your questions saved that I didn't see her answer to. So hopefully that I don't. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna walk away for a second. I'll be back in a few minutes.
I agree.
Which court is she in front of?
I can look. Oh.
Yeah, tell me which judge.
Maybe you can see if you can get that thrown out too, if you can work on my behalf, because I have been on very good behavior, you know, in spite of that right there. Very decent, very respectful of the officers and the inmates.
Sorry, Your Honor, my computer. Oh, it's still, Your Honor, it's, well, hold on. Scott, Judge Scott.
Okay.
You think, Your Honor, you think there's any way you can maybe contact him today? And
I'm sending the judge a message right now.
okay, and if he let you handle that today, would you do it if I wait a little longer?
I can't hear what she's saying, Miss Han.
If he let you handle that today, would you do it?
Yeah, if they wanted me to do it, I would do it. That's no problem.
Okay.
But I'm sending it to her so she'll know.
Okay, will you ask her if you can handle that today? If it's not
Okay, I will.
okay, so you dropped the other one.
Yeah, she's up here.
Okay.
But she can still hear you.
Okay, so you dropped the other one for criminal command for civil battery, right?
No.
Yeah, let me go ahead and send this email, okay? And see if I can get a response in a few minutes.
Okay, and if that's the case, I do time served, I go home today.
I'm gonna work on it, ma'am. I can only do so much, but let me contact the judge upstairs.
Or it's our bond at least, or sign myself out of signature bond.
What's it been, about 11 months, Miss Han? What's she doing, about 11 months?
Yeah, yeah, Your Honor. It's, I mean, it'll be almost 11 months. She'll be in since.
2 years. This is another
Thought
year.
you've been in
going
into
on.
2022.
No, 12/22 of last year's December coming on to another year, and this right here is October this year, so it'll be another year, 2 years, year.
Okay, so you got in December of 2022.
Yeah.
So December 2023 would make
It's going on
1
over
year.
to, yeah.
Okay.
I just pulled the bag over the rail and they took me to the Central Center Police. And as soon as I pulled it over, the officer
Well,
grabbed my
don't, hold
hand.
on, don't talk about your case. Hold on.
All right, sorry, I'm back. There must be another clip after this, because I think this is the end. Or maybe it's not.
Is everybody okay?
I'll explain. I'll say what happened in a second.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's downtime. A few months ago, one of my neighbors had a seizure while walking her dog.
Ew.
And it was bad, and she stopped breathing. And so I'm holding her dog, trying to give her chest compressions while holding her dog and waiting
All
for
right, I sent it to Judge Scott, and
emergency
we'll
services.
see what she responds. Okay. All right. Ms. Langford, if you just go back with the sheriff's office, if we got to bring you back up, that's fine with me. But I did send it to to Judge Scott. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Did you have anything else, Ms. Hahn?
I'm sorry. No, so you're done with her. So Judge Baker, so.
There's another case.
Colin, I renamed you while you were gone.
What'd you rename me to?
No and I were
Constitutional Colin?
Yeah, that's your new name.
Yeah, because I'm a constitutional law scholar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's fitting because, I've spent 2 years watching YouTube court. What does that make me what is it? An L2? Is that what it is? An S2? I don't remember. I don't know what the letter is. I can't think of it right now.
Letter is
Yeah.
the number goes in front of the letter.
Oh, I'm a 2L then?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Oh, yeah, I'm a 2L. So yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Constitutional
Oh,
law
you see,
student.
Andy. So I actually would love for the people who are in the chat, like, do any of you watch the First Amendment auditor things? I sort of slid into. I think I slid into court that way.
Stopped.
Oh, it's horrible. My best friend refuses to let me tell her anything about it. I've known people personally who have been, attacked by auditors. So
I call them frauditors, not First Amendment auditors.
Well, yeah, yes, because what people don't know is that there are actual First Amendment auditors and they're court observers. People don't know that because they're not on YouTube. Nobody's posting those. Sometimes, Shishina, I like audit the audit. Sometimes I don't. It depends. I go. Oh, Lisa, about the auto accident. I remember seeing a Judge Stevens court about the guy who was trying to get probation for his auto accident, where he ended up decapitating one parent, the other parent died, and I think one child, and there was only like one small child remaining. Those are really hard to observe.
I don't like playing this type of cases. I try to keep them to probation cases or misdemeanor cases. And if they are felony cases, I try to keep them as light as possible. I don't like the heavy stuff. I tend to not do anything with kids.
Yeah, you don't.
I am working on a story. No, because I have kids and I've been through a divorce. I've been through that side of things, so I don't like it. But I do have a case right now that it's like I've got four videos on it. I'm trying to figure out how I want to play it, but it's just this asshole of a dad who doesn't take his kids to school. No idea where the mom is. No idea. But he yells at the judge all the time. He's cursing in court. His kids, when they do talk, they're yelling at the judge too. And it's just like, how do I play this? But I've got like 4 videos on this guy, and I want to play it. I just don't know how to play it. So, yeah, that's coming. I just got to figure out how I'm going to do it. But yeah, I don't like the kids stuff. I do have a few videos on it, but I don't like doing it. Anyways, my neighbor's fine. She had another seizure. That's what that was.
Okay. Oh wait, she did have another seizure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was like 2 months ago. She had a seizure while walking
Are
her
they
dog.
are they grand mal seizures? Like, or do you know?
I don't know what that means. I don't know
Oh,
what that
okay.
means. I don't. All I know is she was walking her dog and she collapsed. I was actually doing a live one night, and I was on my balcony doing it, and I saw her collapse, and I took myself off camera and ran outside real quick. And well, I don't think I was on camera for that one, but I ran down, and the live was playing for like 20 minutes after it ended because no, maybe it was a premiere. I don't. It doesn't matter. But it was just I disappeared, and that's what happened. And so when I saw those lights, that was the first thing that came into my head. I was like, this is her. But when I walked down there to see who it was, and she was walking out of the ambulance, so she was fine. She just had another seizure. But she was just telling me, I think yesterday, that she's on new meds and she's doing great, and ambulance is up.
That's
completely
hard.
off subject. Completely off subject.
No,
All right.
no, I've been there. I've been somebody I knew was on the train when she had her seizure, and people could be very vile. I mean, I love New Yorkers. I'm going to tell you, people think New Yorkers are mean, and in general, I find them to be very caring, but not when they're on their way to work. And people were saying some really nasty things because she got a seizure on the train. So of course, it held up the train during rush hour in the morning. But I was there, so I was able to stay with her. Yeah, it's a scary thing. So I hope that she's doing better.
I hope she is too. I won't talk to her for a few days. She's probably going to be out of commission for a couple days, but it is what it is. I just know her. She's my neighbor, so it's not like I can do anything. So let's stop the serious talk. So you renamed me to Constitutional Colin, I see.
Yeah, because we made you our protagonist in our new novel. You were about to get tased from being on the scene, being a little too close to the scene.
You know what? Sometimes you just gotta tase me. That will stop. That will shut me up real quick. For all those people that are upset that I pause too much and we talk too much, just tase my ass. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll be one of those people that sets up a little taser for everyone that super chats. Every time I'm talking too much, nope. Who does that? I don't. There are a couple creators out there that do it, but that have like a little vibration, like a taser type thing when everyone super chats. And the more money you super chat, the higher the voltage. I can't think of the name right now. I can't think of the name right now. But every time someone super chats, they like scream because it's always a surprise.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we can't do it. I've gotten used to you not being able to do super chats. Do you think we're gonna get monetized again?
Yeah, I will, because I've been reading the rules and I'm Constitutional Colin, right? So
Right, exactly.
So I've been reading the rules. What I do have to do is I have to delete all my old videos or re-edit all of them, and all the videos that I don't have voice into, I have to add it to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download all my favorite ones, especially right now, my Judge Simpson ones and my Judge Washington ones, since they're no longer streaming right now. So I'm going to download all those and re-upload them with commentary. And that will bypass all the YouTube rules.
While you were gone, I mean, earlier, I think Nancy said that Judge Simpson is coming back onto YouTube. So
yeah, I don't think they're gone. I said this the other day, and I went back to try to grab this clip, and I shouldn't have said it out loud before I had the clip, but I saw a attorney waiting for his client talking to the judge. So they were just talking, two people talking, shooting the shit. And they were talking about the new rules that the Michigan Supreme Court just passed about YouTube and Zoom, and they're going to go back to forcing as many cases as they can in person. And I think that's what kind of set up the Judge Simpson thing.
Mm-hmm.
they weren't stopping them from doing YouTube. They were essentially saying if you don't have to be on Zoom, you're not going to be allowed to be on Zoom anymore. And what they were saying is they're hoping this is going to stop all the defaults, which doesn't make sense to me. I think that if you show up in person, you're going to be more likely to have a default or not. But that's what the argument is. They think if people have to show up, there's going to be less likelihood of defaults. And that's why they're one of the main pushes for getting rid of Zoom court. And that's just what this attorney and this judge were arguing. They didn't go through all of the list of new rules, but that's what they were arguing. And when I went back to grab the clip, they already took it down. So we don't have that conversation anymore.
Okay.
But I tried. I tried to go get it.
All right. Let's look at this last one.
Yep. Like I said, I thought that was the last clip. Let's see what's next.
Ready now?
I am. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Judge King is my favorite judge. Hands down, he's my favorite judge. He talks to the chat. He's in the chat every day. I feel like, we're all a part of like his courtroom. And he just did a really cool thing yesterday where he had he's a teacher. He's a college professor at a law school. And he had all of his students show up for a mock trial yesterday. It was like a 4-hour-long mock trial where they were hearing a murder case in front of him, and they were in his courtroom. It was really cool. It was really cool to see students do that. But he continues every single time I watch him. He's one of my favorite judges. So this one's interesting. It's not very long, and after this, we'll say our goodbyes and be done.
Your client is who again?
Shawanda Woods.
Calling case number 230-59458 versus Shawanda Woods. Defendant is charged with count 1, murder, second degree, and count 2, possession of a felony firearm. Smells up for a proper cause here.
Good morning, Your Honor. John Bell on behalf of the people, P68673.
Good morning, Judge. Hannah Barron, P85265, representing Ms. Woods. And Ms. Woods, can you please say your name for the record?
Shawanda Woods. You need who?
No, actually. What's your pleasure, Ms. Barron?
So, Judge, we are asking for an exam date. I have paper discovery. I did submit a number of orders to the court requesting that the court sign those discovery orders. We don't have any digital discovery yet in this case.
Ms. Barron, everything was sent to you, should have been sent over the last Friday through evidence.com. I personally sent it again yesterday. Not sure if you received that link. And for some reason, our office also sent it to Attorney Adam Clements, which I haven't heard from him and haven't seen an appearance, but I did send that over to you.
And excuse me, I do have the link from this morning. And as we previously discussed, I never received it before, but I'm checking my email now and I do see the link from this morning. So thank you. Obviously, I don't know what's in there yet, as I did receive it this morning, but I'll review that immediately and make sure there's nothing we're missing.
Yeah, if there's anything you're missing, just let me know.
The court will continue the plea of not guilty, set this matter for preliminary examination, House, November 7th at 1:30.
Judge, I'm in trial the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
I will give my one critique.
That's fine for me.
I will give my one critique about Judge King. That probably the only thing I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how it works. And I understand his frustration on the side. I feel like he bullies attorneys into picking dates when a lot of he has a lot of cases where there's 3 or 4 attorneys in one hearing on one case. And he will straight up tell people, you're too busy to have this case. You're going to have to pass it off. It's like, I'm sorry, you have to have this in 2 weeks. It has to be on this day. So you have to figure it out. And like, I can't do it. Like, well, then you're too busy. the one thing that I don't like that he does.
You could say that he's too busy, but I mean, on another hand, the administration of his cases is faster. I mean, like I think that most court watchers have figured out how much of litigation, whether it's criminal or civil, we're not watching a whole bunch of civil stuff except for landlord tenant. It is ridiculously administrative and transactional, and you could literally show up to court. That's why we see some defendants like complaining and being really upset. Like, I just keep coming to court. I don't know why I'm coming to court. They have to take off days from work to come to court, sit in a courtroom for 6 hours because somebody has to ask for an adjournment because they don't have time, right? So he's just saying, look, if you don't have time to make our docket move at a certain speed, then you need to hand this off to somebody else who does. And there, of course, there's a downside to it, but in terms of the administration of cases, he's moving his docket along and things aren't dragging. Right. So, you know, I agree with that.
I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying. So that makes a lot of sense. But I don't think Judge King does civil. I don't know if I've ever seen him do a civil matter. Generally, he's doing felony cases, or at least moving them along. He does the probable cause and the exams for the felony cases, and he moves them to circuit court. It's generally what he does.
Yeah, I think he's, I don't know because I haven't seen him. I think he's primarily criminal. Becky, but that's the point, Becky, that I'm making, is that first of all, that's because that's all you're seeing is that side of it, right? But a lot of times the reason why things get adjourned, I mean, there's so many things going on with the assignment of cases, who's on a case, then the case goes to trial and somebody has to get off that case and somebody else has to get on another case. The evidence takes forever. Like, God forbid you want a video, you know, from a store or something like that. Even chemical tests take forever to come back. Fingerprints take forever. So DNA tests take forever to come back. I mean, it could be months, and they never tell you that it's going to take forever. So you set another court date, and then you go to the court date, and it's like, can we adjourn it because it's not ready? So again, there are a lot of pieces to put together, and it makes people look like they're not prepared, but it's not that they're not prepared. Very often, people are just not getting the paperwork until that day. And defense attorneys, if you notice something about Judge Simpson, he doesn't like, he rarely lets people go to breakout rooms to have conversations, whereas Judge Bryant used to do it all the time, like start court with you, go in and speak to your attorney. But Judge Simpson clearly said, he said it on a couple of cases, you need to have spoken to your client before you came to court. And they don't always have an opportunity to, like, they just really don't. People could think whatever they want to, but until you've been a defense attorney, you really just don't have any grounds to talk. You get a crap load of cases. Stuff is tossed on you while you're in court. You might not even know the name of your client until 5 seconds before. Like, and some of these courts have different arraignment. You know, they just have a person. Look at Middleton's court, just a person to sit around for first appearances and arraignment. And other courts don't have that. Like, so the administration of court is very, very complicated. And when you're looking at Detroit, you know, 36th district, all of those areas, Fulton County, the other county that Atlanta's in, besides Fulton, I forget the other one, or Texas and Harris County, where Houston is in. These courts are, it's a lot of paper. You've never seen so much paper in your life. That's all I will say.
Okay, that makes sense. And I know what you mean about Judge Simpson. He doesn't let anyone go to the breaker rooms, but generally what he says is he has his prosecutors and defense attorneys for multiple cases. So sending one of them to a breakout room pushes his docket back right behind. So I understand what you're saying. Also, I also want to say look who's here. I put on Judge King and look who shows up.
Exactly. I was just about to say she's biased.
Yeah. She's awesome though. She's awesome. I keep turning my camera off because on StreamYard, I can see my Wi-Fi signal. So every time it drops, I turn my camera off to try to stabilize the video. I know, Debbie, I've already told you this. I'm just letting the people know that not disrespecting you by doing that. I'm literally just trying to stabilize the internet connection because my
Oh
internet
no, I
connection
feel
sucks.
very disrespected. I just, I'll
Yeah,
never
I don't
come
believe you.
here
I
again.
don't believe you.
I did want to
You are
ask
not.
you, is the screen fuzzy for anybody else beside me?
Don't tell me that because I changed the way I compile my videos. I was compiling them at 720, and people were complaining that they were fuzzy. When I compile them at 720, because I generally do 30 to 45-minute videos, they're 3 or 4
Okay.
mega. They're
No, it
3 or
might
4
just be me.
gigabytes.
It's just me. Everybody else says
Well,
fine.
I'm explaining though. So I was compiling them at 720, and I knew that's a lower resolution, but 3 to 4 gigabytes for a video. But people were saying they were fuzzy, so I started doing it at 1020, and it doubled the size. So now every one of my videos is 8 to 9 gigabytes big. So don't tell me it's fuzzy. Please don't tell me it's fuzzy.
Just me. Just my poor computer. That's it. All right. Okay.
It could still be on my end. My internet still sucks. All right, let's finish this out. I'm gonna let it play the rest of the time, and then we'll stop and answer the last couple questions that roll in. Yeah, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. I know Debbie already did. If you want to donate to the help Debbie come back on my stream fund, then the link's in the description. She's loving it. She's loving it. She's gonna be back. She's gonna be back. All right, all right, let's go.
Your Honor, I'm that week I'm scheduled to be in a murder trial.
Okay, this is my last trial, November 21st, 10, 11:30, or 1:30.
I prefer 1:30 if that's possible.
I was gonna say I prefer morning, but I can make 1:30 work, Your Honor.
I can't make this up. Can't make this up. The people want it. The people want it.
And then Judge, if I could address bond, please.
Okay.
So Judge, Miss Woods is currently remanded to the Wayne County Jail. We are asking for an affordable bond for Miss Woods. So in this case, there's of course no allegation of any premeditation. She's charged with second-degree murder. This was an incident where there was a verbal altercation about a pretty horrible family trauma at a baby shower. And two people cornered Miss Woods and in fact punched Miss Woods. They started an altercation against Miss Woods. Miss Woods is a CPL holder. She was armed and one shot was allegedly fired at that time. Miss Woods is 44 years old. She has no criminal history. So this one shot is her entire criminal history. Directly after that fired shot, Miss Woods got into the car, called 911 about the incident that had occurred, and went to the police station. So she is certainly not a flight risk. She went directly to the police station after this occurred and essentially turned herself in. And also directly following that incident, Miss Woods was followed by one of the two people who had cornered her. Followed by him, Mr. Love. I believe he's charged as well for what he continued to do in this case. And he crashed his car into Miss Woods. So Miss Woods is now suffering from serious physical injuries. She needs to undergo physical therapy. She's walking with a cane. She has a gash from the incident. So she's not receiving the care that she currently needs. And I do think that those physical injuries also contribute to her not being a danger to the community, not being at risk of failure to appear, because she can't be a danger to the community right now. She is walking with serious injuries and or needs physical therapy to regain the ability to fully walk. She has two kids who she takes care of. And so for Judge, for all those reasons, we're asking for an affordable bond.
Your Honor, I think you're going to hear a different set of circumstances at the preliminary exam in this case. The circumstances that Miss Woods was actually talking to another individual, saying she was going to kill Mr. Love even days before she arrived at the baby shower. On the date of the incident, she arrived at the baby shower, pulled out a gun, pointed it at Mr. Love. Mr. Love actually went downstairs. It was his the victim was his auntie, who said, "I'm not going to let you kill my son." And at that time, Miss Woods pointed the gun at the victim, shot her in the neck, killing her, and then fled the scene in her vehicle. Miss Wood, I think there's a high likelihood of conviction in this case as well, because not only do we have multiple witnesses at the baby shower who saw Miss Woods pull out the gun and shoot the victim for no reason. There was no self-defense issue. But when Miss Woods was interviewed, she also confessed to it and also never stated any sort of self-defense or stated that she was in fear or anything. She's the one who brought this loaded gun to a baby shower. Witnesses are also going to testify that she didn't even appear to be there for the baby shower because of the way that she was dressed and the way she arrived. So I would ask that the court not change bond at this time. And certainly if Ms. Barron wants to readdress it after the preliminary exam, I'm certainly willing to argue it again.
We have very divergent scenarios as to what took place. I don't know what's what. I probably won't know until I hear testimony from witnesses and view evidence. All that being said, the court will refer to pretrial services for bond recommendations. We'll address it again if need be after the preliminary examination.
Understood, Judge.
Is there any way we can move this up in, given that she is in custody? We have a date of November 21st. Have anything available next week, any day?
Yes, Judge, I am available on the 10th. Is that possible?
No, that's Veterans Day.
Oh. I am available the 6th, and I guess I did receive the discovery this morning, so.
6 is rather soon. Is that too soon, Mr. Bell?
That would be too soon. I could do November 8th. Or
I'm in trial, but I could hope that my trial's over after the 8th and we could try to plan on November 9th.
We can do November 9th.
Okay. I'm unavailable on the 9th. Sorry.
About the following week?
The following week, I have a murder trial, People v. Taylor.
And that brings us back to the 21st. I guess the 21st is it. So November 21st at 1:30, bond will be continued.
Thank you,
Judge, if anything does happen with my trial, could I reach out to this court to see if the 7th or 8th are still available?
Thank you. I'm sorry, what did you say, Ms. Barron?
If anything happens with my trial, could I reach out to this court to see if the 7th or 8th are still available?
Mr. Bello, were you available on either of those days?
I was available on the 8th. I just need enough notice, obviously, to get witnesses subpoenaed.
All right.
Ms. Barron, if something happens to your trial, please contact me.
Okay, well, all right, thank you.
Probably by today, Ms. Barron. I can save that 1:30 slot for you
Okay,
on the 8th. But as for now, we're stuck with November 21st at 1:30.
okay, thank you, Judge.
All right.
Rachel,
All right.
gave you a suggestion, Colin. People v. Taylor, or is that Taylor? I think that should be Taylor, right? Rachel.
Is that Detective Rachel?
Yeah.
People vs. Taylor would be a good case. He is in attempted murder on a day. Okay. Rachel, when is that? Is that out of Judge King's court? All right. Before we say our goodbyes, I have a few thank yous. I've got Mimi, as always. Mimi's a legend. She's always coming through. Thank you so much, Mimi. Jennifer for the $10. Thank you so much. And also Shane. Shane also for the $10. Thank you so much. there weren't any questions, so we can go on. Did you? I saw you answering all the questions. The only questions that I saw were from Lisa, but I feel like you answered most of them. So
I believe I did, but Lisa's a prolific questioner, so
she is. She was asking questions. She was asking a lot of questions, and I saw you in the chat, so I stopped writing them down because you were answering. The one question I do want to say is one of the very first questions. I feel like yesterday when we started this stream. Again, thank you so much for being on here. I thought this was going to be an hour and a half, but we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes now. Thank you so much. We talk a lot. We talk a lot.
Oh, I could have warned you.
All right.
I tried. Lisa, do not apologize. I am a question asker too, so I happily respect. I have I can actually say this to you guys. It's something that really actually affected me in law school in a really negative way, which is sad. But since my civil procedure professor has now passed away, I feel like I can say it and not feel mean. She was a fantastic professor. She was amazing. She was also the first director of the Washington Defenders, the public defenders in Washington, D.C. And one of the first female teachers at Stanford Law School. So loved her dearly. But she actually came to me one day and told me to stop asking questions in class because she said that she felt that other students were relying on my questions and not asking questions themselves. And then I just stopped going to class. So, and then the worst part was she felt sort of guilty about it, but she went and spoke to somebody else who said, nah, don't say anything. But had she said something to me about it, it would have actually made a huge difference. Because I didn't realize I stopped going to class because of that. But I'm like, if you're going to tell me I can't ask questions in class, like, why am I there? So I will never stop a person from asking questions. Not totally. Everybody's not the same, so I don't mind. And then to answer Lisa's last question, I'm not practicing law right now. I actually, now that I've decided to stay in DC a little longer than I thought I would, I'm going to wave into the DC bar. I'm barred in New York, so that I can do some pro bono legal work on the side. I actually care a lot about the profession of law. I think it's an important profession. We get dinged by a ton of people. Everybody hates us. People make comments. I've been cursed out just because I'm a lawyer. Like, all of those things happen. But when people want something, that we're the first person they run into. So it's a little ironic. But I really think that law students need a lot of support as well. And so I decided to go into administration to make sure that they are healthy professionals. That's sort of what my goal is there, that they come out practice ready and making good decisions. So I hope that answers your question, Lisa. All right, Colin, I'm all yours.
I gotta wait till my internet picks back up. All right, it's coming back up. No, that was a great answer. No, and I was also going to say is never stop asking questions, especially when I have, an actual expert on my panel. That's kind of the main reason I bring, people up here so they can comment on the videos and answer questions. And this is the perfect opportunity to ask Debbie questions, right? So I agree. Never stop asking questions. I don't have a great story like she does, but yeah, I like all the questions. Especially because I can't answer them 99% of the time. That being said, Lisa did ask a question right at the beginning. I didn't see if you answered it. She said something about the Supreme Court showing their videos on YouTube. Now, I will say there are a few state Supreme Courts that do already show stuff on YouTube. I know Ohio does, but they have weird YouTube settings where you can't pause it. You can watch it, but you can't pause it, rewind it, fast forward it. It's just it's just a stream. So if you jump on there, what's that?
It's not weird. That's exact. It's very deliberate. So
no, and I know it is. It's on purpose. And I honestly think that that's a really good idea for courts, is to put those settings up. That way, if we're watching, we can watch. And I don't know.
So, okay. So I didn't answer that. For SCOTUS, so I know you guys, I'm like really nerdy, so I might be the only person who used to watch C-SPAN regularly, but I used to watch C-SPAN regularly. So anytime there was a big move that was happening, an appellate court decision that came out when I was younger, I would actually watch it. But just so you know, judges can be swayed in oral argument, but they're not making their decision based on oral argument. So as I said, the parts you see, but half of, I wouldn't even say half, it's probably more than half. A significant portion of appellate law, the decisions are not based on oral arguments. People have already made up their mind based on the briefs and, you know, the amicus briefs or the briefs on motion. So, so, you know, listening to arguments are actually, I mean, the reason why listening to arguments are awesome is you could sort of see where a particular justice was leaning and some of their questions, but judges also ask questions to get certain things on the record. And sometimes it's in their favor. Sometimes it's not always in their favor. You know, they could be doing things to trip people up. They could be doing things to make a justification for narrowing the scope of the, you know, they like to do a lot of narrow scopes of decisions so that it's not generally applicable, even though people are going to cite it anyway for whatever they want. But I think I do think that hearing oral arguments, I think it's important for people to understand how the Supreme Court works. I also agree with all of you who said term limits. If I don't want someone driving at 93, I don't see why they should still be a judge. And I feel that way about Congress too. I don't know. It seems to be the most age protected job that you can have in government is being Congress. And, you know, so that we could celebrate people's 100th birthday or whatever, and then they're making decisions. So what the SCOTUS determines is pretty weighty, and it could be very intricate. And our brains just don't work the same at 85 as they do at 65 for the most part. So I would love term limits too, but understand politically why you will probably never see it in your lifetime.
I understand that. Also, I'm going to stop you from talking more politics, so.
Oh, no. That's not political. That's the judiciary. That's not about politics.
I know. I just don't want it to deep dive farther than that. I respect what you said when we started, and I'm going to continue with that. I don't want it to tree branch into a different kind of conversation. You are so focused on the chat right now.
If I implied, no, I'm listening to you. If I implied in any way that I'm taking a big P position on politics, I'm not. I'm literally saying this even. Their vested interest in the way our government currently works, and the vested interest is on both sides. So it's very hard to create change at this stage without, because everybody knows that they have a potential of losing something, and it's people complain about the status quo, but they also don't want to give it up. So it's just really interesting.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. That's the basics of politics is everyone's afraid of losing something.
Oh, for the people who want to know my age, hold on a second.
For the people that are what?
Who want to know my age? I gotta do this not on YouTube.
You said you were in college or high school or something when the O.J. Simpson trial was going on. So
yeah,
you answered my question.
I took away something. Hold on, let's see. I don't know what you could see. It's fuzzy. You see it?
It's fuzzy to me.
But can you read the number?
Here, let me see if this helps. See if that helps.
Okay, it's hard.
It's your background filter. Your background filter is blurring it out.
Oh yeah, that's ruining it. Well, if you could see the number, then you win. Look, you see, some of them saw it. Melanie, one of you is correct.
Well, anyways. You're
I'm
not.
not. I was just teasing about my age. No, for all of you who think I look good, I appreciate you, but I just remember this old guy in New York coming up to me, yelling at my student because she said she was going to be a lawyer, and said that's disgusting. She shouldn't go into law. And then he asked me, how old am I? 60, 70? And I was like, I just was like, it was the weirdest, most awkward. If anybody knows New York City, we're around Carnegie Hall, and to be accosted by this old man who had nothing better to do, like, you know, he's an old man, so you sort of just gotta let it go and run with it. But and when I didn't want to tell him my age, he said that's because I was ashamed of it, and I mean, he just kept going. It was just the funniest thing. But thank you guys. I appreciate your compliments. I'm sure all of you would look beautiful on camera too. So, all right, Colin, what do you want?
You got this guy who needs a haircut and needs a shave, but yeah.
Guys have to do so little to look cute, please. Okay, you take one razor and go. Like we were talking about Shemke. Shemke looks completely different. He looks like 12 years younger when he shaves. You know, where is he? He's in DeSantos. Yeah. The PD in DeSantos court.
Shemke's one of my he is. He's a good looking guy. He's well groomed. He takes care of him. He always looks nice. He always dresses up for court.
His cuffs, he actually has, like, I can see the cufflinks that he has, which, you know, you don't see a lot of men wearing shirts with cufflinks anymore. So I pay close attention to that. We have a couple of cuties in.
I've got cufflinks and I wear them maybe once or twice a year.
Again, you're a guy. You get away with those things.
Yeah, like this. This is what I get away with. It's also why I don't go on video very often. But you're here on video, so I decided to go on video.
We don't care. We absolutely couldn't care less if you wanted to come. What I love about, and I'm saying this in all fun, and so you don't have to worry about protection of. What I love about Law Talk with Mike, which is how I started watching, was the old video.
Hold on. Is that better with Law Talk with Mike? I can't pull it down.
Exactly. You get right.
I love Mike, by the way.
Yeah,
that wasn't a shot at Mike. I love it.
No, it's not. It's not. It's all in jest. He takes it. You know. So you know, in the beginning, he was all dressed up all the time, you know, wearing his suit for court. And then I don't know what created the transformation. Then it was like hoodie. And then it's like, you know, how much chest can I show for each hoodie? You know, it's all fun. We all love it.
Did you see that gift that he got from a viewer? Someone sent him a gift.
What, the fly?
Yeah, it was last week. It was within the last week. Someone bought him a hoodie, a zip up.
Oh, okay.
A zip up hoodie, and the zipper literally started like right here. That's where the zipper
That's what I was gonna say.
That's where it started.
I think the person broke the hoodie and then gave it to him.
Someone had to have made that. There's no way that it wasn't made, but it was hilarious, and he wore it.
He gets okay, so Danny B's talking about the major crush there. Now I got to look at Prosecutor Lucia as well. But yeah, he gets the best gifts. He really does. He gets really good gifts from his viewers. I like to give gifts in theory.
In theory, yeah. I think the best gift they ever.
No, go ahead.
Received was Deborah Davis naming her goat Little Mikey.
Yeah. So we have to ask Sash to name a little baby, a little kid after you, a little sheep kid. What were you calling those? Her sheep goat.
Oh, her sheep goat pit. No, sheep goat cows. Her cow goat sheeps.
Yeah.
Her cow goat sheeps. Yeah. I don't remember what order I put them in, but they were spotted like cows, they were sheep, but they jumped around like goats. Or is that what it was? I don't remember.
Yeah, they jumped around like
I don't
goats.
remember. If
And they were spotted like cows. Yes, I
I
think that's what it is. They were sheep that jumped around like goats and looked like Holstein cows.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. But I don't remember what order it was. The sheep, cow, goats, the co-goat, the co.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Danny,
what order
I
it
was saying kids because I forgot they were sheep. I thought they were goats, actually. I'm not that bad. Mary had a little kid, lamb, not a little kid. That would have made a whole difference. That would have been a Ben's nursery rhyme.
That would have been, yeah, that would have changed the story a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, Melanie.
All right. You got any last words before we shut this off?
No, anyway, I wanted to say you guys are awesome. I would really love, I'm still saying, like, I'm waiting until I win the lottery so I can host a Court Watcher Supreme in Michigan, since that's our hot courts. So I'm, wish me luck on the next, what is it? Powerball.
Yeah, the Powerball. Hopefully you win it. Get us all up there.
Yeah, okay, we're all gonna be good and nice to everybody on this channel. Even though we try hard. But it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Really like you guys come in. I'm reading the comments, that's why. I appreciate you guys allowing me to host. This is not my comfort zone, but I did it for Colin.
You wouldn't know it.
Colin is so lovable and we all know it. So that's why I did it. Yep, you are. So thank you. And I wish that whoever is supposed to win that football game wins. I do not want to take sides lest I be attacked. So I'm going to refrain.
Bengals are supposed to win. I don't know what you're talking about.
Who are they playing again?
Buffalo.
Wait. I'm a New Yorker, okay? And I still have to, even though that's upstate, I still have to
like I said, you just said the team that's supposed to win. The Bengals are supposed to win. So you just said it. You can't backtrack now.
Okay, bye, Mimi. Mimi, my birthday's in February, remember. I'm hiring you early for catering. I'm doing a 2-month in advance order. All right, bye, guys. And it was lovely to be here. Thanks a lot, Colin, for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for coming up. I very much appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you for coming up. And we're doing this again, whether or not you like it or not.
I'm a one-time.
So tomorrow. All right, tomorrow. She said yes. Tomorrow, everyone. Tomorrow.
All right, bye, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Do I know?
Everyone have a good night. You can just turn off your camera. I'm about to end stream. So
okay.
Do whatever you want to do.